Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome back to Soundout's Pickups. This week we'll be taking a look at everything I picked up between March 10th and March 16th of 2019. We have Star Wars The Black Series, some Batman Night Missions, Transformers Studio Series, a little Jurassic Park, and some manga and DVDs to look at. So, let's begin. First up, let's talk about the usual stuff. Now, what I call by the usual stuff is essentially lines that I normally collect, that being Star Wars The Black Series. This week I got an L337 from Solo: A Star Wars Story. I got her from Hasbro Pulse. I've kind of been waiting out on this wave, just trying to pick things up. I got down to L3 being the last one I needed after finding Rio and Val in Hawaii, of all places. No luck on retail for Star Wars figures in my area anymore. It's all young Han Solos and DJs. So I ordered L3, so this kind of completes the Solo, completes the last wave for me, everything I wanted, and then kind of completes the main heroes from Solo. So, yeah, she works good with Lando. Really cool looking figure. I do like the added, the way the articulation works out despite the design is pretty nice. I think this is fairly successful. These wires make me a little concerned, but, you know, they do rotate here. Her wrists are supposed to bend, but no luck there. The torso joint is pretty nice, and the hips actually function fairly well, considering the design. The knees, though, they're very ratcheted. Like, they move, but they're ratcheted, and the feet barely pivot. So, kind of hard to get her. I guess you can kind of get her in a walking pose, kind of like this. Maybe. Not really, because I can't get that hip to move because of the wires. That just looks janky. Yeah, I think L3's design did not take to action figure very well. So, even though she's got the articulation with the legs, I just kind of have her standing on her own, like that. So, cool figure. Got some wonkiness, but, you know, glad to have her for the Solo display. Except now I can't get her to stand at all. It's kind of an issue I had with Battle Droid last week. Okay. Now she falls off the back of the tray. I am sorry to all droids everywhere. And that is not... Okay, she's going to stand. Alright, next up we have Padme Amidala. Padme Amidala here I got from Amazon. Surprisingly, the order actually went through. Very nice Natalie Portman sculpt. Gotta say, Hasbro is killing it with the photoreal. And overall, really nice figure. There's some weirdness to her, namely like the cape. You can't get her head off to remove the cape. Kind of just have to squeeze the cape over her so you can just kind of get the normal jumpsuit. I don't know, I kind of like the cape. Her hips also are V-hips. On a 6-inch figure in 2019, she has V-hips, and it's like, it has that same weirdness of V-hips where you have to move it forward and then turn the leg to get to... I mean, she's not going to be doing any sitting, but it kind of really restricts her motion a lot, which I don't like V-hips. This is probably my biggest complaint with the figure. Other than that, really fantastic. She has her normal smaller pistol and a separate hand that actually holds the smaller pistol and also the larger, which is really cool. So, really nice Padme. Finally glad to have her in the lineup, in the line. She has been a long time coming, and she can't stand very well either. Alright, Dryden Voss. Dryden Voss is from the same wave as Padme. He is the third of 4 figures that I wanted from this wave, the fourth being Mace Windu. We'll look at him hopefully next week. Dryden Voss is catching the light with his face right there, but you can see that is a really well done Paul Bettany head sculpt there. Really nice work. Now what's cool is that the daggers and his scars actually glow red when the figure gets cold. It doesn't have to be cold water. I stuck this guy in the fridge for a few minutes and then just got bright red result. So that's a really cool feature that just, you know, emulates something from the character in the movie that I didn't think could actually happen because, you know, it's just like, oh, he gets angry and his scars turn red. But they actually did pull that off. And the scars look natural this way. It doesn't look like it's color changing paint. We'll see, you know, if that ever has a downside to this, but I think Hasbro figured out a way to do it properly. And now we got the lead bad guy from Solo. So that kind of finishes off the characters for me. There's not anything I'm really like, I need more Solo. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with what we got. So that pretty much does it for Star Wars. That was kind of a big week. I think once I get Mace, though, it's not going to be anything till summer, so that's the Star Wars talk for now. Went to Target, found Night Missions Nightwing. This is the Batman basic figure line they've put out now, Night Missions. I had gotten the Harley Quinn before. I didn't really pick up the others. I haven't seen Batgirl, but I did get Nightwing because it's a really nice looking Nightwing figure, and it works pretty well. Articulation-wise, he's got, you know, ball-hinged shoulders, ball-hinged elbows that don't really bend too much in either direction, because I thought they were backwards at first, but no, they don't really bend either way very well. They bend a little bit more this way. The wrists do hinge, which is really nice. I gotta give him credit there. And then he's got forward hips and knees, so it's a step up from basic Marvel figures. So good job, Mattel. You won't have this license for too much longer. Cool part is his Eskrima sticks can actually plug into his back, so that's a plus. I got to give them credit for that as well. This is a $10 figure, and they made a really nice one. I do like it. So props to Mattel for making a nice Nightwing. Also at Target, I found Transformers Studio Series Cogman. I was surprised to find him, considering I think this wave just went up for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store this week. He was already in store. I don't know how Studio Series functions this, but Studio Series Transformers seem to just pop into stores really quickly, which is kind of amazing, and I do appreciate that. If I was collecting the whole line, I would be a lot happier, because, you know, I want Siege stuff to kind of pop up quicker than, but, you know. Anyways, I wasn't going to pick up many more Studio Series, like I mentioned when I got Sideswipe, but I saw Cogman, and I was like, oh, that was something I missed from the last night. The cool part with him, the reason why I'm in vehicle mode, is because, as those that know, Cogman is a headmaster in the movie, so they made him a Titan Master. Actually, they used the Titan Master molds to make small Cogman, and then they made the car he drove as well. Now, the only thing I think I can really complain about this is that he doesn't come with a tiny Anthony Hopkins to put in the passenger seat, and the actual seats could be a little bit better, but he does actually fit in there, and you can fit another Titan Master inside as well, and that is super, super duper cool. So I really like that. He does have a robot mode, which isn't too complicated because he's, you know, he's a Last Night mold re-released in Studio Series. There's a nice head, really nice head sculpt. But we'll just transform him real quick because, unlike Sideswipe, where I didn't want to transform him during a pickups video because he's really complicated and takes a couple minutes, Cogman is a lot more straightforward because, like I said, again, it's a re-release from the Last Night. He does have nicer paint. I have noticed that he's got more of a silvery paint, but let's just do this like this. Take and flip this around. This is probably the most complicated part of the toy, is just the backpack. Kind of like when you're building a really intense Gunpla model and it's like, why is the backpack taking longer than the rest of the body? So you just kind of fold that up, get that there, and then we'll just fold its legs together. I haven't done an on-screen transformation on a toy in a long time. This is kind of nice. It's nostalgic. I screwed this up because you got to fold that first and then fold that and then bring his little thing into place, bring the chest into place, split the arm, fold the hand out, fold that back, and then come over here, hand it out, panel back, give him the cool sword because they made him a knight, which is appropriate, and put his head on like that, and now you've got Cogman. I really wish this would have happened in the movie. It was a little bit of a letdown because we knew the toy was coming, and they basically, you know, I thought, oh, with him being a headmaster, you know, maybe the car that he's driving will suddenly become a robot, and it never did. Also, as a headmaster, Nitro Zeus lost his head, and I kind of was hoping he would jump on to that, but that didn't happen either. But luckily, with Nitro Zeus having a Titan Master compatible head socket, could totally put this guy's head on there, which I will probably do later, just for fun. But yeah, so there is Cogman. Nice to finally have him. Moving along to the media section of the video, we have two more Pokemon movies. This is Hoopa and the Clash of Ages, and Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel. These are the last two I think I needed. I should have all the Pokemon movies now, so hooray. Speaking of catching up on things, Barnes & Noble finally had a manga sale on Viz Manga when I had money, so I picked up Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt Volume 8, 9, and 10. These are the last 3 I was missing. I have 1 through 7, which you can distinctively see in my Lionfire Fortress review from last week. But this is now catching me up, and Volume 11 comes out in May, so hopefully I can kind of stay on top of it. I do like me some Thunderbolt. Moving forward into the Random Purchase of the Week segment, that would be this, the Jurassic Park Jeep. Now, for those that don't know, Jurassic Park is a franchise about dinosaurs, and most everybody's going to know that at this point. This is the Jurassic World Legacy Collection. I think it's Legacy Collection. Legacy Collection Jurassic Park Jeep, as well as Alan Grant, Ellie Slater, Robert somebody, and Ian Malcolm. Basically what I did here was I picked up the 4 characters they made for the Jurassic Park line, for the human characters, and the Jeep that they fit in. Because this is not only like, hey, you know, it's Jurassic Park, the first one, which is still probably my favorite Jurassic movie, but it's also like, you know, a nice compact display thing. I don't have to worry about shelves or these guys falling over. They all fit in the Jeep, and it just kind of sits, and it can kind of be like my mystery machine that has my Scooby-Doo figures in it. It just, you know, it's going to be a thing in the house, and it's just going to go wherever it goes because, you know, it's a nice little Jeep. So overall, really cool stuff. I hadn't picked up anything from the line. I still kind of want a T-Rex. I think a T-Rex would go with these really well. But the cool part with this vehicle, it's $16, which isn't super expensive, but it's like a nice little Jeep. It rolls really nice. It has a hitch on the back if you have something that hitches up to it. It's technically a Matchbox item, so, you know, Mattel's cross-branding there. And it has this working winch. And the winch is cool because you can do winch stuff. And it rolls up fairly okay. The cool part is it actually stores under here very well. If you have the winch rolled up all the way, you can just kind of stash it under there. But yeah, so really cool. Each figure came with an accessory and a little tiny dinosaur. One of them fell off. I decided to have it just crawling with tiny dinosaurs. Yeah, I think people reviewed these before. Reason why I didn't get into this sooner was because I could not find... Actually, pull out this one, it's my favorite. I could not find me the Goldblum. The Ian Malcolm was shipped in a way by himself, I think, or something. He never showed up in my area. I saw Alan and Robert Muldoon, like a lot. And then I saw Ellie a couple times, but I didn't see Dr. Ian Malcolm, the Jeff Goldblum, until yesterday. So I was like, okay, now is the time. Now that I found the Goldblum, the rest is worth it. So yeah, there is supposed to be a 6-inch Dr. Ian Malcolm coming from Mattel, but, you know, it's Mattel, and I only believe half of what they show and none of what they say. So, basically, you know, I decided, alright, let me just get the Jurassic Park characters. I still hope the 6-inch line happens, because that would be super duper cool, especially since they're making, like, a blue that's scaled to 6-inch, and your foot is getting in the way. The only thing here that I have a problem with is that getting the 2 in the back is a little difficult because you have to position their legs differently. With Ellie and Alan, you just kind of... I just knocked the Goldblum's glasses off. Monster. Okay. Anyways, it's a little bit hard to get back to this, so I'm just gonna, like, throw him in the trunk. But, anywho, that was why I picked that up. Pretty simple. It was just like, hey, they have everything. Time to go nuts. Speaking of going nuts, here we have the Primal Age Batcave. This went up on Target.com for the price of $41.49. Actually lowered the price. And I was able to do a price match in store to get this for that price. And there was only one Target that had it left. It was on the other side of town. And I was kind of surprised I couldn't find it before now. It took me 4 Targets to find it, which is kind of nuts because there was a bunch of them the week before, so I don't really know what happened there. But I do know the Primal Age end cap disappeared, and some Targets may have, sent the stock back to the warehouse. I don't know. Here we have the giant Batcave. This thing is impressive. For example, let me bring out something I recently reviewed. The Lionfire Fortress Zord here is pretty much, they're almost the same height. I think they are the same height if you count the top of the wingtips there. Like, they are... Nope, Batcave is ever so slightly to this tip taller than the Fire Fortress Zord. This is big. It is, you know, vintage style playset, and it is vintage sized, which is really nice. Now, I really want to do a full in-depth review of Primal Age once I get Wave 2, which hopefully will be stocking online soon, so I can just kind of order it and not think about it too much. But this thing's really cool. For example, the side here, we have these little clips. We just kind of unlock it, and as stuff comes spilling out, we can see we have the Batcave. And hey, nothing actually fell too badly. So I actually was able to fit all of the figures inside of the Batcave from Wave 1, except for the beasts. Which is super cool. And what's awesome about this is, much like Castle Grayskull, you get like extra weapons, like stuff that hangs on the wall. You get like, you know, basic, you know, standard playset things like, I don't know, a door. This actually works as a door instead of the drawbridge of Castle Grayskull, which is cool. You also get like a training dummy, which has a removable helmet, which is pretty cool. It's funny is this helmet really fit tightly before. Now it's loose, so it must have changed with the weather. So, you know, we've got Green Lantern hanging out here. Let's move Aquaman down here. Some of the other cool features, of course, we have Batman in a throne. There's no place for the throne to peg into, and there's no, like, trapdoor function, so it's not exactly like Castle Grayskull. That's what I like. It's not just Castle Grayskull bat theming. But you see, even with his cape, he sits in it really well, which is very important because it's the bat throne. He also gets a orb, crystal orb, you know, similar to Castle Grayskull, but different. Kind of keep that with Wonder Woman up here. You, of course, got your standard 80s jail cell, which is the door popped off of on the bottom, which happens, but I was able to fit Mr. Freeze and Scarecrow in there comfortably. I'm sure if I tried hard enough, I could probably squeeze the third one in there, but I'm not going to. And then we have a solid piece of vinyl plastic. Like, this thing is not hollow at all. This thing is just solid. That's a giant skeletal piece that becomes the ladder. Plus, there's some space back there where I just kind of shove the other villains. But there's a lot of cool potential here. This is definitely something that I wouldn't have mind paying full price, but getting it on sale obviously would have, you know, made it a lot easier to get this, and, you know, then I could afford, like, random Jurassic Park figures. But this is definitely something cool. I know several Targets are putting them on clearance from everything I'm seeing on the internet, so if you want one of these, I would say go check your Target soon, because they seem to be pushing them out. But definitely cool stuff. One of the other cool functions that I thought was really awesome, that you don't see in playsets very much, is an actual feature on the front of the playset. So say you have this closed up because you got all your figures inside, and you don't really have room to display it open, but you still want to leave like somebody out there. You know, you could put Batman or somebody up here. There's actually like it's molded too. Like, there's a brick structure under here. I'm sure you could probably squeeze Wonder Woman in there too. Let's do that. Let's just do that. I say it. If I say it, I should do it, because that'll make it cool. Yeah, we'll just put them there. So they got kind of like a little bit of a display option of, you know, they're out looking on the outpost of the Batcave. So overall, this is a really cool playset. I want to do, like I said, a full video on Primal Age when it's all said and done. I'm pretty much going to get Wave 2 and probably do that video because that's pretty much going to cover it. I don't know if this is going to get a Wave 3. I know that it's been successful, but I don't know how successful, if it's been poor distribution, it's making figures hard to find, or they're actually incredibly popular. I can't really tell. So we'll see what happens with the line. I do hope it continues, because I do really love it. But, you know, I think when we get Wave 2, probably just do like an overview video of everything. That'd be super fun. So that does it for this week on Soundout's Pickups. My voice is starting to go a little bit because I've been talking too much. So we had Primal Age Batcave, Jurassic Park figures in a Jeep. Here. Then we had, you know, Dryden Voss and Nightwing. And I'm just picking things up off the floor now, like Cogman. And he fell. And then L337, who also fell. And Padme Amidala, who's probably also gonna fall. Plus manga and Pokemon. I don't know. I'm just going to end the video here. Be sure to check out Model Kit Monday tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, followed by Ninja Talks Gundam Live over on Visible Ninja's YouTube channel at 9 p.m. Eastern. And check out Hero Club for all your toy news and more. Until next time, this is Soundout saying, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, and goodbye.